Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. Thank you all for tuning in, whatever time it is for you, and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Ginger Sports Talk, episode 21. The most important week of the NFL season is upon us. The most important game is tomorrow. We have probably the two best teams in there, let's be honest. This was a lot of people's pick at the beginning of the year because you have the one and only reigning GOAT, Tom Brady, leading the Buccaneers against the one and only upcoming superstar, maybe potential GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. Once again, I am joined by Gingy. Gingy, what do you think about this?
Super Bowl week. Always bittersweet, donkey. Got the biggest game of the year. Pretty exciting. I would have to agree with you. Probably two best teams. But at the same time, you know that it's coming to an end. You're going to hopefully see a great game. Going to see a little weekend at halftime. And we'll be looking forward to seeing what might be, I don't know, the passing of the torch, in my opinion. The reigning GOAT, as you say, with the new young blood, obviously referring to Tom Brady and Pete Mahomes. I don't know. What do you think, Donkey? How's it gonna go?
I think the old guy still has one in him, and as like I said, I don't bet against Brady. And honestly, I just feel like that Tampa defense is healthier and is better than that Kansas City defense, right? Am I crazy for thinking this? But I don't know. That Tampa Bay defense to me is better, and you have to remember both Jordan Whitehead and Winfield Jr. practice, so it looks like they're both going to play. I mean, I guess, who was it? The defensive end, I can't think of his name right now. He used to play for the Giants, is on the Buccaneers. I guess he was added to the injury report.
JPP.
Might miss the game. Yeah. JPP, he's going to possibly miss the game. But then up front, you have to think Kansas City has a hard time running the ball, and I don't know if you want to throw a billion times against that ball hockey defense that Tampa Bay has on the back half with like Buntling and all them back there. And a team that struggles running the ball, and you're going to have to play that Tampa Bay defense that can stop the run, especially with big old Vita Vea back up there in the middle. And I don't know if you've seen that man, but boy, does he take up some space. And he's not easy to move.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Obviously, you got Patrick Mahomes in that high-powered Chiefs offense. You're gonna, you could see a lot of different things. I think both defenses have stepped up during the playoffs significantly from the regular season play. Could be a shootout. Could have some unsung heroes who you might not expect. But obviously, I think what I'm going to be looking at is that high-powered Kansas City offense led by Patrick Mahomes and Hill and Kelsey and supporting cast. And, we're going to have to see a couple familiar Steelers faces returning to the big game.
Hey, and also one unfamiliar that I bet everyone's not even going to talk about. Isn't Steve McClendon on Tampa Bay?
Might be. Is he?
I believe he is. I believe Steve McClendon plays on Tampa Bay, and that would be an old Steeler face. But yeah, you're talking, if it's based off the way Kansas City played since Edwards-Helaire came back, you're not going to see much of Le'Veon Bell. And, well, you really shouldn't, because if you watch the difference there, Le'Veon Bell's the third best running back on that team, which says something about, man, injuries and just carries took a toll on that man. He led the NFL in touches for like 2 or 3 years. I mean, it shows. He's not even. I don't think he's even 30 yet. And dude, that's not the Le'Veon Bell we knew. That is definitely not the Le'Veon Bell we watched. But yeah, that Kansas City team has a lot of weapons. But I don't think you want to be throwing the ball too much against Tampa Bay, because what they want to do is they don't even care. They just want to get those 1 or 2 turnovers a game. And I could see it happening. I really think Devin White is going to absolutely have a good day. That linebacking core is just fast. That defensive front has played good. Weren't they like number 1 against the run this year? I mean, I love that defense there. And then you flip side that, Kansas City's defense has not been good this year. And look at the weapons Tampa Bay puts out there. I mean, you're talking probably the biggest free agent receiver right now in Godwin's on there. You're talking Antonio Brown. You're talking Scotty Miller. You're talking Rob Gronkowski, although Cameron Brate did miss Friday's practice with a back injury, so that's a bad sign for Tampa. Losing Brate wouldn't be good. I mean, he's an all-around good player and just absolutely helps that team function all through the sides and up the middle, blocking, catching the ball. Just he's your prototypical Tom Brady type of guy. Just gets the job done. Doesn't have to be pretty. But I don't know. I think you're going to see something out of Leonard Fournette. I honestly think he's going to be the X factor to the game. And the other guy we're not even talking about is, I mean, yeah, everyone wants to talk about Tyreek Hill, but we have a literal NFL record-setting wide receiver in this game who doesn't get talked about. And that is, the guy who has the most 1,000-yard seasons to start a career is who?
Evans.
I'll give you a hint. He plays Mike Evans. There you go. Mike Evans, yeah, he said it this year by, I think, literally like a yard. He's beat Randy Moss's record. And I don't know. I love that whole group, and the fact that Tom Brady turned the ball over 3 times his last game just makes me feel like it ain't going to happen again, right? I mean, it's Tom Brady. That doesn't happen 2 times in a row. And I think Patrick Mahomes comes and puts up a gun show. And I think you look at a 38-35 finish with Tom Brady leading a 4-minute drive touchdown to end the game.
Oof. That sounds like an exciting one. I can't wait to see that. I hope that's true. But myself... Go ahead.
No, all you.
No, I was going to say myself that you feeling like a Tampa Bay win. I was feeling like I alluded to earlier, more like the passing of the torch, where we're going to see the Tom Brady, sort of pass the torch to the new young blood, Patrick Mahomes. And I think you're going to see both defenses actually step up a little bit less of a high-scoring game than you might think. I'm going 28-24. Kansas City Chiefs with the same game-winning drive by Patrick Mahomes. You can't let Tom Brady
if my
be the last
streak
one on the
of
field.
picking right ends on this game, I'm gonna be so sad.
If you leave Tom Brady on the field for the last drive of the game, he will win. So any scenario that has him on the field for the last drive of the game, probably not a game that.
It feels like. You remember the game that to me was oh my God, this Patrick Mahomes kid is real. Do you remember New England beating Kansas City? I believe it was 2 years ago, right? That game that ended up going to overtime, and the only reason New England won is because they won the coin toss, because neither of those two would lose. I mean, I don't expect anything different, because I feel both of those guys are in better situations right now than they were on those teams. I feel both of these teams are better than those 2 teams were. And that was one of my favorite games to watch. In my watching career, that was beyond a highlight. Like, that game to me was nuts. You just watch 2 guys who are at the absolute peaks. And it's scary because Kansas City has a little bit of an experience edge on Tampa Bay. No doubt, because they have people who've been there and done that. But I think the difference is going to be that hunger edge on Tampa Bay. Because say what you want, when you've been there, you've done that, you got it, it's not as much of a drive, right? Because, what's the worst that happens? We already have one. There are guys on that Tampa Bay team who don't have one. You're talking who are going to be big-time features in the game. You're talking like Antonio Brown. Never got one. Never got a chance. I mean, you could say Le'Veon Bell on the other side, but I just don't think he's going to be a big-time feature in the game, so I don't see that as the deal. But you're talking Ndamukong Suh. You're talking just that whole team isn't coming right off a Super Bowl. That whole team's hungry, and that whole team has the guy who knows how to get it done better than anyone in the history of the football game. I just don't know how I pick against that. I think Patrick Mahomes is great. I think he's going to be that rare exception of you can pay a quarterback and win. I think he'll be that guy. Who knows, though? We get to find out next year, starting on it, and we can do a big case study on that. I probably will. But there's something about a team with an edge with a leader who knows how to handle it. Because that keeps the edge focused the right way. And let's not act like those are the only two guys we should talk about, Mahomes and Brady. Yeah, they're the focal points because they're the quarterbacks and everyone likes to talk about the pretty quarterbacks. But look at those rosters that are built around them. Those GMs on those teams have done such a good job constructing rosters. But then let's not even just stay focused on the rosters. I'm going to go do back on the beat. But look at those coaches. I mean, probably if Andy Reid hadn't won a Super Bowl, you're talking one of the most underappreciated coaches in football history if he didn't win a Super Bowl last year. Andy Reid wins. I mean, he didn't win Super Bowls, but Andy Reid made winning football teams out of teams that probably weren't that talented. And then on the other side, you have Bruce Arians, who, oh my God, I hate to say this, but the last time the Steelers' offense was probably fearful because of the schematics rather than the players. Because we did have a couple years where the players were just too good to stop. But the last time we were probably schematically good was Bruce Arians, although everyone hated him because we're going to get Ben killed. But the offense looked good. Say what you want.
True. I don't disagree with that.
And these are just top to bottom good teams. And it's so hard to pick one. And that's why I go with the guy who's been there and done it more than anybody. The X factor to me is just that guy and the little edge I think Tampa Bay will have. Plus, Jordan Whitehead plays on Tampa Bay, and a Pitt kid needs to win the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't doubt if your pick came to fruition. I find it very hard to root for Tom Brady based on my personal experience and history, but I will say that that's going to be a very hard thing for him to lose. He's always a fierce competitor, GOAT, of course, and I can't wait for a good game. Wrap up a very tenuous and tumultuous NFL season, really. A lot of uncertainty, a lot of weirdness. Donkey overall. Been pretty sweet doing these podcasts for sure, man.
At least no crazy COVID things going on in the Super Bowl. But Gingy, before we go on to anything else, if there is anything else, I need to know your X factor for this game. What makes you think that this is the Chiefs game? Because we got my X factor for it. I would love to hear what the other side's looking for.
I think it's matchups, and I think it's going to be Travis Kelce, the matchup nightmare. He's going to be able to have a big game. Going to exploit some of the opportunities there in the middle and in the seams. Primetime player in the Super Bowl. That's my X factor, Donkey. Who do you got?
Kelce is a hard matchup, but I mean, you're looking on the other side of that. You have Devin White, the Devin taken before Devin Bush, and both of them have been really good. But I think Devin White can shut him down. But again, I think the X factor is just, I think it's that edge, and honestly, I think it's going to be Tampa Bay's defensive line. I think if JPP plays, but more importantly, just like I said with the Green Bay game, I think the dude who's going to come out with the edge, and the guy who has been a game wrecker, like an absolute game wrecker, Aaron Donald type at points in his career, and Ndamukong Suh, I think he makes a big play. I think there's a big fumble from Patrick Mahomes, and I think that is what sets up Tampa Bay to take that lead and take that narrow win, because I think these two teams are just going to be neck and neck, and I hope Tom Brady doesn't score too fast, because you know what happens when you score too fast against either of these quarterbacks.
Yeah. Going to be a great game. Can't wait, Donkey. Let's go.
I know, This is one of the most exciting Super Bowls for me as kind of a Buccaneers fan. Definitely been my second favorite team. For a little bit of my life was my favorite team, so, I have a little love there. Warwick Dunn, Mike Allstott. That's why I love power football, man. Warwick Dunn, Mike Allstott, and Jerome Bettis at the same time when I was growing up. Like, that's what I know. Like, John Lester paving the way. I was trying to think of a fullback I could name other than Fu, because it had to be an earlier one, right? Lester was before Fu, right? Or was he after? Man, I might have the wrong direction, but either way, I love that power football. But if you're looking for the X factor on offense for me, I think it's Leonard Fournette for Tampa Bay's offense X factor. But Gingy, you said you had a couple things you wanted to get into.
Well,
right?
if you're looking at a defensive X factor as well, for me on Kansas City, it would have to be Tyrann Mathieu. Big playmaker.
Honey Badger. Yeah, he is.
Ball hawk. Always see him disrupting rhythm, making plays. That would have to be
better not get caught on that.
Factor.
Better not get caught on the double move by the man claiming to be faster than Tyreek Hill, Scotty Miller, though.
Uh-oh.
He'll be right behind you.
Yeah, a couple other things you said, Donkey, for sure. Big roster news. Quarterbacks already moving in the NFL. I'm sure most of you listening already know that there's a new quarterback in LA, Matthew Stafford, moving from the Detroit Lions to the LA Rams for Jared Goff, straight up, as well as 2 first-rounders.
2 first and a third.
And 1/3, yes. 2 first and 1/3 rounder, plus Jared Goff. I think that's a marvelous trade for Detroit. And what I was thinking about that, Donkey, is you've proposed a lot on the show about, moving Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers not knowing when to move on from that type of talent, right? And by the math and the age of Matthew Stafford, what you would have proposed with Ben Roethlisberger is really what Detroit kind of just did right now. They moved away from him. You know what? Some would say relatively early with some gas in the tank, but in 5 years, is that going to be your guy? But right now, he looks like he might be able to lead that franchise, and particularly, well, he's going to lead the offense, but the defense having a more consistent offense to line up opposite. I think that's a good move for both teams.
I think it was a good move for Detroit. I'm not so sure for LA, and my biggest problem here is LA's offensive line last year was terrible. They couldn't block anyone rushing the passer. And you're going to bring in a guy who doesn't move as well. Say what you want, but Jared Goff is more athletic at this point than Matthew Stafford. You're bringing in a guy who's injured, and you're bringing in a guy who hasn't got it done. I know everyone's going to tell me how great he is, how he's a franchise quarterback, he's a cornerstone quarterback. Cornerstone quarterbacks don't miss the playoffs 80% of the time. Like, I'm sorry. I know people love his arm talent, and I know he seems like a good enough dude. But look at the numbers. Even the best seasons for Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff put up those type of numbers his second and third year in the league. It's kind of a weird trade to me, though, because normally when a team moves on from a big money quarterback, they don't take a big money quarterback, right? But both of these teams are trading big money quarterbacks. Like, both of these dudes have been paid. So I'm not sure if either team really gets better, because both teams are going to take huge cap hits right now because all that signing bonus is going to be this season. And then I guess it'll be a little less for each of them moving forward. But, oh man, both teams are going to have a lot of dead money on the books for this year because of that trade. I do think it's a great move for Detroit, because say what you want, adding 2 more first-round picks is huge. Adding another third-round pick is huge. And that's a team rebuilding, so that is such a smart move. And then you look at LA, how are you going to bring in talent now? You don't have a first-round pick for the next 4 years. You haven't had a first-round pick on your roster for the last 3 years. And you're in a division that has Seattle, Arizona on the climb. And let's not act like San Francisco wasn't a Super Bowl team 2 years ago. I know it's so tantalizing to take a talent like that. And I understand Detroit's not a well-run organization, but man, is it worth the risk that they just took to take on an aging, injured Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's an
And
exciting prospect though. High value pieces moving already, Donkey.
yeah, it sounds like me and you were against the norm, though, as most people out there are saying, oh my God, LA won this by a landslide. And I'm just sitting here like, how? Like, I'm missing something, clearly. I see that talent in Stafford, don't get me wrong, but I've never seen him come up clutch. Like, you can go back to his college days. I don't think he ever came up clutch, but I don't know. People see it. We have a couple other big quarterbacks who are supposed to be on the move. I hear Wentz should be moved by the end of the week. That's huge. I have no idea where he's going.
I've heard speculation of Indy.
Deshaun Watson's so weird because I hear he's going to be moved, but then Houston says we have no want to move him, but then I hear they do, and these are two more quarterbacks that I'm kind of scared about because they were quarterbacks who didn't get it done on rookie deals, and now you're going to try to build a team around them while paying them. And I've been trying to point out over the last few weeks how once you start paying guys, it's kind of hard. And someone's going to take on a lot of money to take these guys, and it's going to cost you a lot. Because not only are you going to start giving them at least 10, 15% of your cap for the year, you're going to have to give up 2 or 3 first-rounders and say what you want. If you don't have first-rounders, man, your talent looks bad normally. Very few teams make it look good while not getting first-round picks.
True that, Donkey. We're going to have to wait and see, let this quarterback carousel begin. It's, well, what is it usually, Donkey? Between first and second week of March that roster bonuses become due. And we're in the first week.
Yeah, first week.
We're at the first week of February right now, so let this speculation fly all the way probably to the first week of March sometimes before some of these decisions are made.
Yeah, and I hear the Steelers are going to start talking to Roethlisberger about a new contract. Oh, boy.
Right after the Super Bowl. Oh, boy, indeed. Let's see if Big Ben is going to put his money where his mouth is.
I told you there was one way I would take Ben back, and it's on a veteran minimum contract. Ben said it's not about the money, so I say you cut Ben, and if he's serious, you sign him at veteran mid. Because, to be honest, you're not going to get a cheaper quarterback at that point. 19 million's already dead. 20 million's already dead. We can't do anything about that. But he wants to come back on vet min, dude. I am all for Ben Roethlisberger on vet min.
We shall see. I'm excited to hear about those talks, too.
Oh, yeah. What was talking point number 2, Gingy? We got through the quarterback trade and maybe potential quarterback trades. Although I want to know your view on Jared Goff versus Matthew Stafford before we move on to your next point. You finish that view, and then you tell me where we're going.
Matthew Stafford is just a older Jared Goff.
I can dig that. I mean, both were number 1 overall picks, so scouting people say you were 100% right. I like it.
In terms of potential and output, I believe what the opportunity is there in the right system. See, Donkey, a lot of this isn't necessarily about individual arm talent. It's about the system that you're produced into and who you got coaching and who you got blocking and what your team looks like. And, football is definitely not a one-person game as much as as much as Nike would make you like you to believe. It is about the entirety of that unit. As you can see with both those teams in the Super Bowl, yes, they got some superstar players, but those teams beat other teams with superstar players too.
Yep, that's for damn sure. I mean,
so I'm pretty excited. Let's go.
All right. What was the next point?
Second point was both quarterbacks. Definitely talking about where Carson Wentz is going. Who else is going to be out there on the market, Donkey? Let's talk about this carousel for just a second. What are the rest of the available options present here?
Supposedly Miami's souring on Tua after a year. Like, I don't get that, but the Tua's there. If you like the old, you're either going to win me a game or lose me a game quarterback, I'm pretty sure Fitzmagic's back on the track, Just saying, that dude is pretty and that dude is ugly. But I think he's back out there if you're looking that way. You have to assume the Vegas Raiders have to move one of those two quarterbacks because that is way too much value right now in those two guys to not use one of them to bring something back between Derek Carr and, oh my gosh, Marcus Mariota. Ooh, almost drew a blank there.
True.
You would think Jameis Winston was back on the block, and what would make me very interested in him is that Sean Payton said he's very much in our plans if Drew Brees leaves. So that makes you think that they'll try to keep him. But he was another... Look at the numbers. I mean, he turned the ball over a lot, but arm talent-wise, draft position-wise, he's another one of those high-talent guys who just, for whatever reason, stop one didn't work out for.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, when he leaves stop one, it went to the Super Bowl.
That's a good landing place, I'd say.
That's. There's talk Garoppolo.
Jimmy
Could be a
G.
guy,
Wow,
maybe.
that'd be another big money guy out there. Holy shamoly.
I mean, there's a lot of potential guys. I mean, does Aaron Rodgers really try to stick it to Green Bay? And if so, did Green Bay draft Love so that they can move on from Rodgers? Because let's not act like Green Bay's afraid to move on from a quarterback. They did it before with a Hall of Famer who got it done once.
Who did have Aaron Rodgers in waiting, sitting there for 2 years prior to him.
Right, and they've had Love
Exiting.
sitting in waiting for a year. How much do they actually like him? I'm not a huge Green Bay guy, but I know there's a reason when you have Aaron Rodgers, you take a dude in the first round. You have to really like that guy, right?
I think so.
Just like the same reason when you have Brett Favre and you take a guy in the first round, you gotta really like that guy, right?
I'd suppose so. I agree.
I mean, other first-round picks, Dwayne Haskins has already moved. He's moved to the Steelers. That's another former first-round talent out there. Our boy Duck Hodges moved to the Rams.
Yeah. Quack, quack.
He was a fun time. He made that terrible season a little bit enjoyable for like 3 games until people figured out he couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards, and then it was not very enjoyable.
But this is only the beginning of that carousel. Over the next 4 weeks or so, I'm excited to see where talent starts to fall and where that salary cap is going to be set. I've heard some speculation that this cap might be a little bit higher than expected, possibly up to 184, 185 million. That
So you're
would
talking
certainly
about
help the Steelers.
$9 million off prediction. Yeah, that only would put us 22 million over.
Hey, 8 or 9 mil to the good is.
It's obviously very good, but I'm sorry. I
It's
heard
a real
Rooney
problem
say
right
we are
here.
not going to rebuild this team, and my first thought was, oh God, we're just going to be mediocre for 4 more years before we decide to blow it up. Because the only way you get better is by pulling off the Band-Aid.
Yeah, well, we're going to see how that shakes out, and I think there's going to be a lot to talk about.
We
moving up to
left out
draft time.
probably the most intriguing quarterback.
Mm.
Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
What is he going to come back like? And what is someone willing to pay him?
Very good questions.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Dak at big money because I don't think Dak has that big money ability. I think very few quarterbacks do. But he is a very interesting one because not only is he a guy who's put up pretty numbers in a very, very, very well-surrounded scenario the last couple years in Dallas in terms of talent, but he's a guy coming off a major injury, and you don't even know if he's going to ever be right again.
Yep. Major injury. Major injury.
And I can't believe I didn't even think of him right off the bat, but I don't know. That's a guy who's very interesting, and that's a guy who, I don't want to say this, but he's the type of guy that someone like Ron Rivera would love to have. And could you imagine him leaving Dallas for Washington? Pure speculation, nothing to back this.
Scandalous.
Could you
Cowboys
imagine
fans out
that?
there are raging right now, Donkey, at the prospect that you propose.
That would just be nuts to think about that. And here's an interesting guy. Actually, we left out my two most interesting guys. What's your view on Teddy Bridgewater?
Teddy Bridgewater is a starting level quarterback in the NFL the last time I really saw him.
He played all right in Carolina this year.
So,
obviously, he didn't play that good. That team wasn't very good. But to be fair, that team spent a lot of money on Christian McCaffrey, and unfortunately, you build an offense around a guy and he's not there. It doesn't look good very often.
No, it wasn't very good. But you're right. McCaffrey was big piece of the puzzle missing there. But yeah, let's go.
I don't know, Gingy. Is there any quarterbacks I missed? Any quarterbacks you're interested at?
Nope, we pretty much covered them, Donkey. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Any quarterback you feel is in the Steelers' price range, which is probably very, very low.
Oh, no, not right now. Well, I'd have to think about it. Put me on the spot. In the Steelers' price range, depends on what price range we're talking about, and who's leaving and who's going.
Let's say Steelers make cap room, so you're talking a quarterback who has to make under $10 million, because there's almost no way we clear enough cap room to have over $10 million. I could see us clearing at most $10 million, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Anyone you feel in that range? Hell, I'll even put it this way. Anyone who wasn't a starting quarterback who might interest you as a pickup in like a trade scenario.
Oh boy, I don't know. Sure. I would like Deshaun Watson. I've seen some things from him. If we're talking dream boats, where how long is it going to be till? Can we trade the 2044 first round pick? Something like that for him. Start farming the real future way.
I don't know, but I'm sure they wouldn't take that. I'm sure they wouldn't take that far out in advance, and I don't like paying quarterbacks that type of money. And no offense to Deshaun Watson here, but you make some pretty plays, you do some amazing things. But he's just that guy who just makes that big mistake at the end of football games. Fumbling the ball at the 1 yard line, throwing an interception when you're in field goal range to tie. I mean, I love the arm talent. I love the physical talent. I just don't love the decision making. And honestly, I don't like paying a quarterback that much money unless I know it's going to be worth it. And he's due big roster bonuses a couple times, so that's a scary one for me. I'll throw a name to you that I'm interested in, and I've told you I've been interested in him from the beginning. I've been saying this is a name since he's been cut or on practice squads, and that's Josh Rosen.
Yeah. You haven't got a chance to see much of him.
No, he's played for like 4 different teams, has never really got stuck with the team, and it wasn't really his fault in Arizona. Arizona just brought in a new coach who really loved Kyler Murray. There's another name in that draft class I know you like, and if the Jets are looking to move him, hey, I'm not against it either. Sam Darnold, you can come over.
Darnold, yeah, I don't know if he's going to get
the bigger problem with him is I think he's on the last year of a rookie deal, so you would actually have to pay him some money as opposed to Rosen, who's got cut, so you literally wouldn't have to pay him squat.
Yeah, money's a big issue at this point.
But yeah, I don't know. I do. All right, so we're gonna go down this pipe dream hole before you. You're getting Deshaun Watson. Who are you cutting to clear the cap, and what are you trading in return?
Oh, jeez, Donkey, I haven't thought of that.
Okay, so we're gonna assume you don't bring Ben back. So we're gonna say you're $15 million over cap. We'll give you that. And you have to clear another 10 for Deshaun. So you're looking to clear $25 million off the books.
You're losing. Vince Williams, David DeCastro, and Juju Smith-Schuster.
DeCastro, that's a big one. Juju's money's not on the book, but DeCastro probably gets you $11 million. You got 5 on Vinny, so you're still clearing $11 million ish. We still need $11 million to go. Your easiest bet is which of the 2 cornerbacks do you want to get rid of? Steven Nelson, I think, will clear you 8.5.
Gotta be Joe Hayden.
Okay, Joe Hayden clears you about, I think he'll clear you about 7, if not 8. So you're looking at one more cut. Is it Eric Ebron? Your $3 million cut?
What are my other choices?
At this point, you could cut Ebron. I think you only save $1 million if you cut DJ Watt. Or Derek Watt, DJ. He should be a DJ. Why the hell is he not a DJ? The hell, dude? Why'd you gotta be the oddball? You could cut Watt for about $1 million. I'm trying to think who else is under contract because no other offensive linemen are under contract. I'm just trying to think of anyone who actually costs money. You could cut Steven Nelson. You could probably cut one of your defensive linemen, although I think Tuitt actually would cost you more money because he just signed an extension. I'll give you this. You could probably extend Hayward or someone like that. So you could probably get an extension. So we'll say the Steelers extend someone. You cut those 3 players. You have money. And you can get Watson. But how do you build that offensive line now? Because you're literally bringing back no one on that offensive line who started a game. I take it back. Dotson started some this year. So you bring back Dotson, right?
So what did we give up for Deshaun Watson?
That's what I'm asking. What are you giving up for Deshaun Watson?
I don't know, because you're going to have to take a lineman in a draft somewhere.
Well, more than one. Both of our tackles are gone. All 3 of our tackles are gone. Both of our guards are gone, and our center's gone. Like, the actual starting 5 from this year wouldn't be able to be brought back, essentially, because none of them would play at vet min. And I'm assuming is you don't make any other hires or things like that, then all the players you bring in would have to be vet min players or rookies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you giving up for that? Because it sounds like Going's at least 3, potentially 4 first-round picks.
4 first-round picks is too steep.
Someone's going to pay it. People, in my opinion, way overvalue the quarterback position in this league. And way overvalue paid quarterbacks in this league. Because everyone's afraid of not having a quarterback. But if you look at these teams who make it big, most of them have rookies or no-name quarterbacks, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about that before, for sure.
So I'm just curious,
deal.
In your scenario, what are you giving up for him?
I already... It's got to be Ebron, then.
Ebron? No. I mean, like, what are we trading to them for?
Trading to them picks. I see. It'd be... I don't know, Donkey. It can't happen. I don't want to give up the future. I want to move up in the draft and pick the future.
I'm with you on that one, but you said you're the one who wanted this guy. I want to know what you're willing to give for the guy you want.
I said it was a pipe dream. When you're trying to make it a reality, it can't be a reality.
I just want to know what you're willing to do for your pipe dream. The people want the content, Gingy.
The only thing of value out there, Donkey, that they could give up would either be Minka and TJ and 2 first-rounders and a 3rd-rounder.
That our poor defense.
Just be wrecked. You see what I'm saying?
Our poor defense.
Pick one of the two cornerstones. The cornerstone of the DBs and the secondary, or the cornerstone of the pass rush in the front seven.
Oh god, dude, that's the poor. That's sad. Well, I'm sad that that's what your pipe dream would cost us. Cause yeah, Deshaun probably
Everything.
would be pretty fun here, but oh my god, dude, that's just think about what we'd have to give up is it's hurtful. But
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
I don't know, Gingy. You got anything else?
Uh, nope. Pretty slow week, pretty slow week besides the Super Bowl. Besides the biggest game of the year.
Yep. Besides the most important week of the season, most important game
Uh,
of the season.
my shout out this week goes to all the delivery guys. I'm gonna be looking forward to getting me some pizza, maybe a couple hot wings. You got a standard snack food, donkey, and or beverage that you might particularly enjoy.
Oh, I got me some Rolling Rocks in my fridge. I was prepping
Shout out.
for a good time, but I don't know. Got me some pizza rolls. Some Tostino's pizza
Yeah,
rolls. Don't judge me. I'm a fat kid at
clutch,
heart. I got me
clutch.
some spicy pork rinds, man. Oh, I'm
Ooh,
ready to
yeah,
go. I got
ready
I
to
got
go.
snacks galore ready to go. I'm gonna have me some Scooby Doo fruit snacks with my boys because they love Scooby Doo fruit snacks. I take that back. I'm sorry, Jordy. He loves Sunkist fruit snacks, so we have to carry like three different types of fruit snacks. Awesome. But yeah, I got
Yeah,
it.
my
I
shout
got
out
it
goes to that
ready.
delivery guy. Gonna be delivering me that pizza. Clutch.
I got it ready to go, and I have to give a shout out to all those people who are out there making sure the stadium and everything and all the press stuff is clean because you guys don't get any love. You're like the janitors, when the hospitals are out there and they're loving the nurses and stuff. No one cares about the poor janitorial staff that still has to show up and work through this pandemic. So I'm giving a shout out to those people because, hey, without you, we wouldn't be having a fun Super Bowl. It'd just be kind of boring
Love it. Saying the unsung heroes, donkey.
all the time. All right, Gingy, you gonna take it out the last game of the season the right way?
Ramp it up, folks. Big game. It isn't black and gold, but it's still going to be an entertaining show. Wave them if you got them before you get to put them away until draft time. Shout out Steelers Nation. Let's go.